Okay, so I've done some investigating, and this is really interesting. I mean, for anyone who is interested in thinking that me strangled him, okay? So I'm trying to think back through all of these times. So I looked at my PFA hearing, and I have it here, and I'm going to read some things word for word. It's kind of like not that bright. I need to zoom in here. So he doesn't say anything about me choking him on the PFA stand, and this is before I was charged with strangulation. At this point, I had just been charged with simple assault. Well, I'm trying, and then the next day I obtained a protection from abuse order against him, and we talked all about that and what led up after he got home from taking my son to his football game to the next morning of me going to the courthouse to file the PFA, him stealing my car, which he also admits in this. I can't remember if I ever did a PFA hearing transcript read aloud. I feel like I may have, but I don't know. So, I mean, my attorney at the time, Attorney Bauman, who represented me for this first PFA hearing, is asking, you know, have you ever cut up her purses? He admits, he says he cut up 2. Cut up lots of things of mine. And did you ever throw water on her? Did you ever grab her? He said, well, he did throw water on me, but whatever. He only grabs me when I'm swinging at him. But he says nothing about me strangling him, but this is what he says. So I'm thinking when we were over at Conways is when he said, I gotta read through this transcript again, honestly. I just found this part where my attorney is questioning him about that night. But at one point, somewhere on the stand, it may have been here, I gotta read through this again. I don't, either where the day that they increased the charges on me or this day, he said I jumped in the air and hung from his neck. Well, now he's saying today, which I will get today's transcript, that he was burritoed, which is what other people have been saying too. But here he says, didn't you use that as a threat when you were angry at her, wanted her to get her in trouble? No, the only time I said it was when she hit me, which a week before this time she hit me, she had woke me up at 3 in the morning and started hitting me like this. Hit me right in the eye and almost gave me a black eye. My eye was all puffy. He's a fucking liar. This is a complete straight up lie, I swear to God. And then a week before that, she wanted money. She wouldn't let me leave for work and jumped in my car and punched me right in the lip. And then I said, I did not punch you. And then he said, split my lip open. I said, you were telling me you were going to call the cops and lie. I didn't want to call the police. Oh, here it is. In the middle of the night because of my children and stuff. Well, you already did, douchebag. The kids were all asleep in the living room the night before, having a slumber party when you had police take me out. No, have you shoved her? No, absolutely never gotten physical with her because I always felt like she was trying to bait me to hit her, push her so she could file police and do all these things. I mean, have you ever grabbed her? The only time I ever grabbed her in the past is when she's swinging at me and I grab her by the wrist. All right, I'm going to look into this more to see if I can find where he says that I jumped on him in the middle of the night, and he was burritoed and I choked him. Here it says I'm punching him in the eye. And it says a week later because we got the I first had the PFA for 10 days and then it was granted for 3 years, 10 days later, and 10 days later is when we had this hearing. So he's talking about that night. He says I jumped on him and punched him. He doesn't say anything about choking, but I will continue to look to see if it says in this transcript that I jumped up and was hanging from his neck. Because remember he said, I remember him doing this, which I think it was at Conways now. Because I'm like watching, I went like this, he said, and just let her like hang from my neck because I didn't want her to say I have marks on me, I have marks on me. So, I mean, the whole situation's a fucked up lie. But right here, he's testifying on the stand about that night and he says I'm punching him in the eye or punching him or whatever. Doesn't say he was choked. Then today he testified that I was choking him. and when I jumped on him, supposedly, which is all a fucking lie. I can tell the story later, but I will save that. My attorney knows the story of what really happened, my side.